If you fuck in the dream, you fuck in real life. Howdy hole, and welcome back to Hole Chat, the only non-movie podcast willing to reference an early 2000s film about a killer video game. I'm your host, Chuck, and with me is the angel of my nightmare, Keelz.
You good?
I'm pissed that I wrote that.
Do you need to reshoot something else?
No, it's totally fine. I'm just pissed that I did it.
Why?
You know what song that's from, right? Don't waste your time on me.
The song that I've been singing in my head because it's been stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Did you include that because it's been stuck in my head, or was that a coincidence?
I wrote it and then it hit me afterwards, and I was like, no. And then it's like, yeah, no, it is fucking Blink-182. I'm gonna choke myself out.
So you reference "Stay Alive" and Blink-182 in like one sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, 2000s.
You know exactly how old I am.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Well, happy Valentine's Day. Or Galentine's or corporate chocolate and diamonds holiday, whatever you want to call it. However it is for you is totally fine. All I know is that today, by the time you're hearing this, I will likely be in Keelz for weeks, and this will put for lifetimes.
Yo.
And finding out if Rosé pairs.
What the fuck, my dude?
It's really important.
Holy shit. Well, I guess I know what I'm getting for Valentine's.
Hell yeah, dog.
Holy shit, dude.
Hope you appreciate it. It's like a little premonition of the future that you're getting here.
Just don't clip that.
Which, premonition, kind of on theme today. I mean, Valentine's Day in general is very much on theme because it's supposed to be a day of fulfilling your most romantic dreams or spending it with the person of your dreams, that sort of thing. Which is why I wanted to do It's Just a Dream, right? That is the title. I know it's a question.
Oh.
But it's called It's Just a Dream, right?
Honestly, I'm still stuck on you talking because, you get on to me for being too lovey-dovey with you.
My podcast. I do what I want. It's Just a Dream, right? As a 2021 boy love webtoon by the author Whiteeared. It's dreamy and supernatural and so smutty and perfect for this holiday. So let's get into it.
I've heard a little bit about this. Isn't there a family in this?
Well, yeah, there's families in a lot of stuff.
But I mean, isn't the family a big part of this story and there's just a lot of smut in it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I know you can fuck with families being around. That's how people do it sometimes. But, I don't know,
Do you remember the closet?
Did you shut the fuck up?
So, I do want to start off by saying there's a lot of supernatural shit in this one, and there's some talk about, Korean shamanism, which I will be clear with you, know very little about. I don't think it's super important to know about it in depth for this. They're going to explain most things to you. You can go read about Korean shamanism. I do think it's really fascinating and very interesting how things go out. But there's one teeny tiny part that we're actually focusing in on. So you don't need to know everything. Just you'll get there. And I'm telling you this too as well, Keelz, because I know you're going to ask me some questions. I only know so many answers.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really need to know the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to ask anyways.
Great. So we kick off with a I bet you're wondering how I got here style opening. But it's the male lead straddling the main character asking to get dick down. With a 100% I'm usually not like this, but could you please do this for me? All needy and shit. And then we work back to a couple days prior.
All right. Since you said something about Korean shamans and stuff, here's my guess. A ghost has possessed him. And this ghost is like, I was gonna go to heaven if I fucked 100 people and I was on 99, and I'm gonna fuck you as my 100th. That's the boy love.
I cannot express to you how you're reading too many isekais.
This is not from isekais.
The level of insanity of what you're trying to explain fits right into an isekai, though.
This is just me.
You're, oh, girl.
Yeah, this is just me.
Oh, honey, babe. Okay. So, our kind of main character is Jungoh Han. He is standing in front of the gates of a large, older home, holding a recruitment flyer. The flyer in question? Shady as shit.
Oh, God.
It's requesting odd things like being strong, healthy, and from a childhood home free of conflict or misfortune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it also mentions that there will likely be spiritual encounters, as a treat.
Yeah, so like weird cultist shit that you sign up for at college to get spaghetti dinner.
He is a college student, so yeah, dog.
No, like this is the thing. Like everyone has gone to that free dinner at college that was a little shady. That it's like, hey, come here to talk about this for like 10 hours, and we'll give you a dinner.
Oh yeah, like the Tex-Mex dinner they had once a week at that creepy church.
Uh-huh.
Man, dude.
Yeah. I've gotten free spaghetti before. I'm not ashamed.
We've all thought about it.
Did not like the subject we were talking about, though. But that spaghetti was free and good.
Well, in any case, the whole job sounds absolutely bonkers, and possibly not even real. But for a college student, the pay is too good to pass up. And hey, he's a great fit with a strong interest in this position. An elderly woman approaches Jungoh on the sidewalk, asking if he's there for a job, revealing herself to be the source of said flyer. Jungoh turns on his politeness and greets her as the boss, looking adorable and full of youthful charm. The woman pets his head, sizing him up, and determines that he'd be great for the job. He's somehow made a good impression, and he's invited inside the property.
Were we doubting he'd make a good impression?
I think you should have a lot of doubt in general around a random flyer that you found that says spiritual encounter, but
he should. Yeah. She might just want his kidneys for all we know.
Like there should just be suspicious. I feel like at this point.
He should, but she's like, yay, free boy. I guess I don't know.
I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe free kidney. The woman explains that Ibeum, her grandson, is who Jungoh will be working with, and that he will explain the further details of employment. She then steps inside the house, leaving Jungoh on the porch to wait for his direct employer. So, no explanation. Just, they'll tell you. Hang out here, I guess.
I've done some shady jobs before, but not this.
Waiting isn't much of a problem, since the yard is a big attraction for cats of all shapes and sizes. And like any red-blooded Korean man, Jungoh is delighted and uses his cell phone to snap some pics. One cat in particular, an orange tabby, approaches him and rubs against his legs. And in true cat fashion, the tabby pulls away before Jungoh can pet them, and moves across the yard from him. They stare intensely at Jungoh, seemingly encouraging him to follow.
Don't.
Jungoh follows.
No. Your ass, that's a ghost. You're at a shrine, right? He's at a shrine, right? You dumbass, that is a ghost, or that is a fox demon. He's gonna eat your soul.
He's at an older house, which I will go ahead and tell you, they mention later on in the comic that this house did used to be haunted, and everyone in the neighborhood hated it before the old woman took it in.
Yeah, No, you dumb fool.
So Jungoh follows, and the cat leads him a ways away to what appears to be a storage room. He checks over his shoulder, wondering if he's forbidden from looking around the property. But truthfully, no one has told him shit at this point, so even if he's wrong, they can't be too mad at him.
Boy.
The cat has disappeared, and coincidentally, the door to the storage room is slightly ajar.
Boy.
Believing the cat has gone inside, Jungoh opens the door and is greeted with the sight of a young man, dressed like a shaman, kneeling in front of an altar. As the man turns his head to face him, Jungoh wonders if this moment is one of the spiritual encounters he was told about, as the faint sound of bells reverberates through his ears.
Suspicious, but man.
Yeah, let me show you that part.
You're gonna show me the scene?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that scene because it's very like sha-la-la-la-la. Wow, he's the most beautiful person I've ever seen, kind of thing. So we
Ah,
get yeah,
the cat led you to your boning partner. I couldn't think of anything clever.
yes. So he believes he's had a little bit of a spiritual encounter, and he's just met another young man. He is actually a stranger, though, and he is now obviously in a meditation space and not a storage room. So it's no surprise that the young man posts up and threatens to call the police. Another excellent meet cute for boy loves.
I mean, thank you. This other character who was walked in on at probably their home. Good on you. Honestly, stranger enters your house. Who are you? Get out. That's the correct reaction.
It is. It
Redheaded dude, do not follow a cat into someone's home. Like, you know this kid was that child who it's like the mom had to go over and over again. Now, if they offer you candy, you say, yeah! No! You say no.
Andeo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andeo.
Yeah, so luckily for Jungoh, a bigger adult enters the room speaking unknowingly about Jungoh, which helps him transition into the job interview. So
Grandma shows up?
not grandma, another man shows up.
Oh, okay. Dad?
Like, not dad either. Dude pops in and he's like, Ibium, hey, there's somebody actually picked up the flyer and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, who's this? And this we find out to be is Ibium's older brother.
Okay.
So, our precious little shaman is Ibium Shin, and the bigger adult is his older brother, Yi Hyung. I'm probably just going to call him Hyung or older brother most of the time, because Yi Hyung is making my mouth do insane shit.
I'm just watching you in amazement. Say these names, because I'm so terrible with accentation.
This is one of the few comics I've read where I'm like, oh, the names are chewing me up. Normally I'm like,
yeah,
chill.
Can you say Ibium again?
Ibium.
Ibium. Okay.
Ibium.
Ibium. I'm gonna get this wrong a lot, and
It's
I'm really
totally
not trying to be a shit. I'm just that bad.
Yeah, like I'm so used to like woos and wugongs and stuff like that that my mouth is struggling. But so we have Ibium and his older brother Ihyung.
I like hearing them said. They're beautiful names.
Oh yeah, I totally get why the author picked these names, like why Whiteeared picked these names, because they're very beautiful names. But as my American ass is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
While Grandma might be the boss, these are the two that Jungoh would actually be working with, meaning he has to impress them to actually snag this job. And despite how Grandma felt about him, neither Ibium or his brother are too impressed. They need someone methodical and careful, and Jungoh, 1, showed up without calling first, and 2, didn't bother inquiring about the validity of the flyer.
Hey, you made the flyer. Like, I know I shouldn't be defending him, but I am. You made the creepy ass flyer.
No, Grandma made the creepy ass flyer.
Oh.
And then
Grandma.
And then Jungoh was just like, I know there's a number on there, but fuck it.
I'm just gonna go to the address?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'm not defending this boy.
Exactly. Which, yeah, kind of makes him seem impulsive and reckless. But he's also 24, so like, what college student, especially one that's taking a gap year, wouldn't take a weird job like this?
Everyone has taken this job.
Exactly, because I understand both sides of this. I have been that person that's like, why did you come here? But I've also been that person where I'm like,
we have all taken
why
a
not?
weird job. When you hooked me up with that pie job in high school, I thought it was weird.
The pie job?
Yeah, where we delivered pies to like that old frat or something.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I've had my teachers offer me some shady ass shit to do, and then it seemed fine. It's just what you do as a young person.
Yeah, it was great, but I just remember when we got there, it's like, what is this? What did I get my ass
There's
into?
just some jobs that you take, and if you die, you die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually you don't, but that's what it is. Still, Jungoh is nothing if not persistent. So he throws on a charming smile and proceeds to the interview like normal, giving a formal greeting, asking about details, detailing relevant experience, the whole nine. The job is perfect for his needs, so he's determined to show them he's the right fit. Ibium and his Hyung step away to discuss privately about their potential new hire. Ibium straight up doesn't like him, preferring to keep things as is or rely on his brother for assistance with his shamanic duties. His brother counters that they should just trust Grandma's vibe check and at least give him a chance. And what if Ibeom comes to like him? This does nothing to soothe Ibeom and actually unnerves a bit of insecurity. So he's over there telling his brother, like, well, what if Grandma wants me to have this guy because she doesn't trust me to do this by myself, and I'm trying my best, and maybe she's, thinking
So
things
he's full
about
of self-doubt and stuff.
Yes, like, he's doing a very cool job for a young person, but then he's also thinking, maybe I need this new assistant because I'm shitty at my job.
Just off of, like, meditation, yoga, and any spiritual stuff I've already done, this is going to be a problem. His self-doubt is going to be a problem in this.
Bingo, bango.
Look. I've been in a lot of religious stuff, and I've done a lot of yoga. I knew what was coming.
But of course, this whole conversation is said within Jungo's earshot, so he hears everything. They did not step far enough away. He heard them be like, man, this dude sucks. Maybe Grandma's going to be upset with me. All of it. Their frank conversation does nothing to deter him, though. He still wants this job. So when Ibeom and his brother return, they offer him the job on the condition of good performance on a practical interview. Jungoh will accompany them on their next job, and if it works out, he'll be hired on. This is total bullshit, and I'm telling you, this is also total bullshit. If somebody gives you an on-the-job, like, interview or whatever, like, where you have to do the job for a period of time for them to even decide to hire you, that is bullshit. If they are not paying you to do the job as practice to then get hired, fuck them. Run away. Do not do free labor to prove that you can do the job. This is not like trying to build houses in Amish country or some bullshit like that. Don't do that.
Yeah, but he's like gonna do that?
In this case, he's going to, but they are going to pay him.
Okay.
So he's going to do a tester for it, but they are going to compensate him for the test.
That's what you got to do. Like, I've heard of some crazy chef like apps.
Yeah.
Like, you come in and you test for, are you going to be the head chef? Mm-hmm. And they pay everyone there when they leave. But, like, I still feel like the 2 tests I've heard about, I'm like, you're crazy. Yeah. Because, like, they were given, like, hey, here's some, like, snake eggs, cook with these. And I'm like, I'm sure they can, but what the fuck?
Well, even with chefing, there's a level that makes sense. But in the chef world, too, the test would be part of your interview. Doing a regular test that, like, takes, like, an hour of your day or whatever. If they tell you ahead of time, we're going to be cooking for 3 hours, and then you're going to have somebody taste it and then judge or whatever, that's within the realm of being normal. But they should never ask you to do a day's work for nothing.
Yeah.
To see if you get the job.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right, I agree.
But yeah, this is total bullshit. And Jungoh knows it. He's done the song and dance before, paid or not. But it's always a tactic to let you down easy and guilt-free. So come try the job, and then they can say, oh, well, you didn't actually fit the parameters, so never mind. But this time, it just makes his determination grow. Besides, there's just something about this job. He emphatically agrees to the offer, shaking Ibeom's hand vigorously, his smile never wavering, even as the shaman snatches his hand back.
Ibeom's a little rude.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You have a taste.
I have a taste?
Uh-huh. A rude bottom with a cheerful top. Triple X buddy. Boss baby bitch or whatever it was called. I think all of them except for killing and stalking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
Do not bring Yu-Gi-Oh into this, please.
I didn't even mention Yu-Gi-Oh's name, and you just spit it out there.
I can see it in your eyes. Please stop. Jungoh will succeed, and more importantly, he will get Ibeom to like him. He does, like, mention something about, like, if you really want something, you'll find a way, which, in this context, is very gay.
Right. But he does mean I just really want his friendship and the job, right? I just really want the friendship and the job. Or is he like, no, I've already decided I want you?
I think his subconscious has decided before his conscious brain has decided.
Yeah, so his one part of him, maybe his cock, is ahead of the rest of the class.
Only one of the wolves inside of him knows exactly what's going on. The other wolf is still chasing its tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wolf who's figured it out is still, like, shaking a ball or something vigorously.
Uh-huh. 2 days later, we find Jungoh sitting behind Ibiam and his brother as they drive to their client's location. He's attempting to endear the brothers to him by being chatty and inquisitive, but neither of them are particularly friendly.
Dude, this is a lost cause.
Ibiam hands him a small, seemingly handmade pamphlet to both shut him up and give him a rundown of what exactly will be taking place that day. And this is like the
They're
first...
gonna sell your organs. That's what's gonna happen.
No, this is the first time, too, that Jungoh, while trying to compliment Ibiam, accidentally compliments the older brother. And the older brother is like, he's almost 30, he's about to be 30. And so Jungoh is looking through this pamphlet and there's like cute little drawings in it. And he's like, oh wow, did you do these yourself? These are really cute. And then you flash over to the brother and he's like, no, I drew them.
The older brother?
Yeah.
They're still really cute.
They still are really cute, but it's like, you're complimenting a 30-year-old man. And so he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Because he's being very obvious about trying to show Ibiam that, look, I'm friendly and we should be friends and you like me, right? And it's like, stop.
No, they're trying not to get attached because they're going to sell your kidneys. These dumb people getting in cars as strangers. Good lord.
It's for a job.
Get you some mace.
It's for a job. It's fine.
No!
He's tall. He's
Children.
sturdy. Yeah,
Children.
it's fine.
Children, listen to me. Listen. If you get hired for a job and they want to take you somewhere, bring some mace.
We've talked about this before, too, that I don't think that young men are ever as frightened as they should be about going places with strangers or being out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just as high of a risk of something bad happening to them. But they're so confident, and I wish they would be a little bit less confident.
Yeah. Young men, you should be scared. And if you think nothing can't happen to you, I want you to go look up a serial killer called John Wayne Gacy.
Oh.
Please just look it up. Look it up. Feel a little fear. I'm just saying everyone should be safe. I don't think just women should be conscious of their safety. Men need to be conscious of it too.
You're not wrong. You just had to bring in a serial killer.
I just did. And I've got another one. So if you guys want another serial killer suggestion, you email us at, drop our email. What is it?
Hold.chat.69.
Yep.
Don't email us about more serial killers.
No. If you need... just type at the message, this question is for Keelz, and if it's about a serial killer, I will happily answer.
I don't want this. But the pamphlet that Jungoh was given is a rough description of shamanic dream manipulation. So essentially...
Get out of this. Get out of this pyramid scheme. Good lord.
It's so funny that you're saying this, but hold on a sec. But no, essentially, Ibiam is meant to combat nightmares and something called nightmare seedlings. So basically,
get out of this. Get out of this cult. I'm so skeptic, and I know I shouldn't be, but get out of this.
Hey. Focus up. Look at me. Okay.
I'm having a flashback to like 2012.
Okay, hold on. Listen, okay. Ibiam meant to combat nightmares, and they're seeds. So nightmares that start to affect a person's life. So not just like, oh, I had one nightmare and I brushed it off, but if you have like a recurring nightmare, it's really bothering you to the point where you're starting to have physical effects from it, like you're not sleeping well, or like you're noticing other like bruises or something show up. But those nightmares are caused by nightmare seedlings, and that's specifically what Ibiam is here to take care of. And then it's also to help keep them from being afflicted with a malady, which is a manifestation that directly negatively affects a person outside of their dreams and can cause damage to their soul. So both the nightmare seedling can cause damage to their soul. The malady can cause damage in a different way. It's a whole thing. Maladies, in particular, are also capable of attaching themselves to shamans as well, to which both Ibiam's mother and grandmother can attest. So they've both done this work before. They were both afflicted with the malady after getting into people's dreams too much. It's very important to note that Ibiam has not been afflicted with the malady yet, but it's common enough that it happens to shamans, so you should keep that in mind.
Can you just feel my skepticism being held in?
It's fake. It's fake. Keelz, this is not real. It's not real.
I just feel like he's getting scammed and I'm mad. Until a ghost shows up in the comic, I'm just like, this is one big scam.
Well, so we're clear. Jungoh does, as he's getting to learn more of this, does think it's a pyramid scheme. he has to think maybe it's a pyramid scheme because this is sounding like a little too crazy. So he has to actually see things with his own eyes to actually start thinking, okay, this is a thing.
Yeah.
So Jungo's job is to facilitate Ibeom's recovery in the event he is overcome by a malady. But since Ibeom's been malady-free so far, it should be fine, right?
How does he facilitate his recovery? Like, just carry him out of there or something?
So it depends on what the malady is. So, for instance, Jungo's grandmother's malady was, like, wrath. So she was so overcome with anger that she, like, destroyed the interior of her home. His mom was overcome by gluttony, and so she kept eating, and she felt like she could not be sated for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are pretty easy to take care of, like, you know, break some shit, you'll feel better afterwards. Eat some shit, you'll feel better afterwards. So there is a way to obviously cure the maladies, but it just depends how yours manifest or whatever. They reach the client's location, where they are introduced to an exhausted-looking young woman and her mother. The tired little lady has been suffering from work-related nightmares, where every day she's being relentlessly scolded by her superiors. It's to the point where the dread lingers with her all day, and she's having trouble differentiating between the dream world and real life.
She just needs to turn it sexy. When you've got a problem, make it sexy. That'll fix everything.
It is her middle-aged, like, kind of okay-looking boss. He's not great.
Damn.
Yeah, no, it's not like, I mean, unless she's into that.
She could be, but...
You know what I mean?
You know?
Ibeom has her lay down in her bed and attaches a red string to each of their wrists. He uses the string to establish a physical connection that will then manifest as a spiritual connection, allowing him to interact with her dreams. Ibeom's Hyung gives Jungoh the play-by-play from a safe distance away, because her main character is really just here to hang out and watch for the day, which, like, that's fair, because he has no idea how any of this shit works, and the longer he watches, he begins to wonder if this is some fake religion or the like.
Is he not actually, like, in the room?
They're in the room, but they're a fair distance away, so they're watching only.
God, imagine being that girl. I'm real tired. I'm real stressed. 3 strangers are gonna watch me sleep.
At the point that she's at, she's so desperate, she'll take it.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like on top of my tired ass brain, it'd be like, damn it, and then these 3 guys. And from the pictures you showed me, they're attractive. I'd probably be like, damn it, these 3 attractive guys are watching me sleep. That sucks.
Only one character in here actually is like, dang, 3 attractive guys showed up, and she's a webtoon artist.
I love that. That's so cute.
Like, that's the first thing that comes out of her mouth is like, 3 hot guys at my doorstep, and then she's like, oh shit, bro, sorry, come in.
Oh, man. That's so funny.
Ibeom takes the client through the sleep induction procedure, where he's slowly counting and asking her to stare at the space between his splayed fingers, which is, like, very similar to the kind of thing that a hypnotist might do. And like with a hypnotist, it's very important for only the client to follow their instructions.
Yeah, because, like, can't other people be accidentally hypnotized?
Mm-hmm. So, Big Brother checks his watch, noting that it took exactly 15 minutes for the client and Ibeom to fall asleep. Perfect. Right on time. Exactly how it should go. Now he can inform Jungoh of the next steps to take on as an assistant. Except Jungoh is passed the fuck out. He fell asleep by following the dream procedures, and he is just out.
Like, I have a feeling this is bad.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
Grandma, why you pick this boy?
So, the big brother, he's annoyed, but he's like, at least it'll make it that much easier to fire him later that day. Like, after this, we can easily say, hey, you know, whatever.
You know, that's actually funny. Well, here's my reason.
Yeah, like, you fell asleep, idiot. Ibeom, meanwhile, has entered into the client's dream. She is, as she said, at her office building and dressed for work. Ibeom, in all of his cuteness, is also similarly dressed in a suit and approaches her as though they've met before. He makes up some reason as to how they're connected and further fabricates an excuse for him to accompany her up to the main office. This all makes sense. He's going to help her fight her nightmare. Sure, okay, fine. So, like, he just tells her, like, oh, I'm your subordinate and I'm an intern and you're going to take me, blah, 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 and everything's chill. And it's really cool because the way the dream worlds are done in here is they're, like, fully fleshed out. Because really, in your dream, often stuff is fully fleshed out around you. There's other things going on. And so that's what these dreams are like. They're very vivid. And it's addressed to that when you have a nightmare seedling that's, causing you all these nightmares, they are very flushed out.
Mm-hmm.
They seem real for all intents and purposes. So that it can be very difficult for you to pull yourself out of them or wake up or whatever. So things seem okay. He's about to head upstairs with her and find where this nightmare seedling is so he can take it out. But what's that over yonder, just beyond Ibayam's shoulder? It's Jungoh! And he is also, for some ungodly reason, in this dream and dressed like he belongs there. Ibayam's main emotion is God fucking damn it.
Yeah, if he's there, I'm sure that's a problem. Kill that man. Kick him out of the dream. Like, Inception his ass out or something.
Okay, so two things. They can't cause a big commotion, or that will let the client know that she's in a dream, and she'll wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Which will fuck up the whole thing. They'll have to do it again. It's a whole thing. So, even if he wants to, he can't. So, rather than cause a big scene, Ibayam excuses himself and speed walks over to Jungoh, grabbing him by the wrist and dragging him into a secluded area. He slams Jungoh against the wall, with each hand firmly planted on either side of Jungo's face.
Yeah, Kevidan.
Yeah, it's Kevidan. Yeah.
Is he shorter?
He's shorter, because Ibayam is 5'7".
I don't need exact heights, I just,
Yeah, he's like an inch shorter than I am, and then Jungoh is like 6'1" or 6'2" or something like that. So a decent...
That's a decent thing.
Yeah, decent gap, yeah.
I wasn't going to make you, memorize, weird character traits. I just wanted to know if he was also shorter and aggressively pinning this taller man down.
Yeah, so he's doing the Kabedan. Jungoh is a little embarrassed and excited by this.
Oh, baby.
His heart is fluttering. Ibayam is being so forceful right now.
Baby, boy. You can't have this job.
Ibayam is quite a bit less excited, and I'm certain if he could murder someone in a dream with no consequences, he would.
Mm-hmm.
He asked the stupid question of how the fuck Jungoh got in there, saying that an assistant should never enter the dream with the retainer. Except Jungoh doesn't even realize he's in a dream at this point. And I will be absolutely honest as well, no one in Ibayam's family has fully explained to him what he's supposed to do.
No, that's fair. Honestly, if I was grandma, let's say I'm grandma and I'm the boss of this business, and I found out what happened on the job, I would chew the 30-year-old out.
Mm-hmm.
Because 30-year-old, I don't care if you're mean mugging this new applicant, he didn't know shit, and you just passed it off on a piece of paper. That's called poor training. And guess what? In the business world, you can get sued for that. Fuck you. So,
Yeah, because Ibayam is 22, Jungoh is 24, and then the 29, almost 30-year-old. And so legitimately, no one has given Jungoh shit to work with.
And someone should have.
Yeah.
This is just bad management of your business.
Yeah, just no one is actually doing a good job at this point. And
no.
That's the first time I read this, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. The second time reading this, I was like, well, anybody just tell Jungoh what to fucking do, please?
Honestly, if your trainee fucks up, that's normally you have done something wrong as their superior.
Yeah.
If they mess up this bad especially, you need to look at what you've done that day.
Yeah. Nevertheless, Jungoh is confused, pantsless, and fully incorporated into this dream.
Why is he pantsless?
All that Ibayam said is that happens sometimes. You'll enter a dream and it just happens.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah, that just imagine being the shaman, though, and you're like, oh, fuck, my pants are here.
Before they can figure out just what exactly went wrong, a random senior employee comes around the corner and scolds them for fighting. They look like young new employees, and they're already tussling? Just look at how aggressive Ibayam looks, looming over Jungoh, keeping him pinned to the wall.
Pantsless.
Jungo's boner enters the chat.
No. This is the worst dream. And I mean, what's worse is it's also real.
Yeah.
The worst inception.
Ibayam grabs Jungoh by the wrist again, and runs off in search of a more private place to try and sort things out.
Did he see the dick? Did he see the boner?
He hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, boy.
For some reason, Jungoh is feeling bemused and a little charmed.
But he also... Yeah, and Jungoh doesn't think this is a dream. He
doesn't know. Yeah, he's still confused.
So he doesn't even recognize Ibayam?
He recognizes him, but he doesn't fully know what's going on. So there's Ibayam's trying to explain it to him.
Because imagine if you woke up in there and He's just like, I don't know where I am. I don't know who you are, but hey, you're pitting me against the wall.
Yeah, he's came in confident, like, oh, cool, I'm here. And like, oh, there's my boss, Nito. And then, oh, were we in an office earlier today? Wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
They're finally able to find an empty office space to plan what to do from here on out. Whatever they plan to do, they have to keep things on the down low, because any action that draws too much attention could make the client realize she's dreaming and seriously fuck things up. First order of business, Jungoh needs pants.
Jump a dream person. Steal their pants.
Since he's also asleep and very much not a shaman, all Jungoh needs to do is imagine pants on his body. He instead becomes fully naked.
Honey.
And still unfortunately aroused, which then Eviom is now aware of.
Why?
Eviom tells him to put his shit away, or he'll be forced to tie him up and hide him until the nightmare seed has been dealt with. Jungoh does
you
finally...
You don't need this job. You have lost this job. You have failed this job. I was like a little sorry for you. You gotta go. There's no recovering.
Jungoh does finally get the hang of things, and he redresses himself. But since he's here, what exactly should he do to assist Eviom? He's encouraged just to accompany Eviom at a distance while he tries to isolate the nightmare seed, which happens to be the client's boss, and is the same senior employee that had told them to stop tussling.
Mm-hmm.
So all Jungoh has to do is watch and wait for when or if Eviom needs help. And Eviom does honestly need help this time.
Question though, does he give him any sign of what help would look like? How's he going to know what?
He doesn't. He's like, I'll gesture at you.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
Hasn't employed somebody before. No one's ever entered a dream with him before.
All right.
They're doing bad jobbing.
All right. HR Keelz has entered the chat. You two motherfuckers. And yes, HR can't say that, but this is Boy Love HR. It's different. Boy Love HR Keelz has entered the chat. You two dumb motherfuckers. Just like consent is important in the bedroom, communication is important in the workspace. Jesus.
But at this point, all we know is that Eviom's duty is to enter dreams and blend in until he can isolate the nightmare seed and destroy it discreetly so as not to disturb the client. However, this dumb little baby has never worked in an office and knows nothing about the day-to-day and even less about office politics. So he really only manages to generate more ire for his mentor, who's the client. So he keeps trying to talk to the boss and be like, hey boss, can I talk to you privately? Not knowing that, like, in Korean corporate hierarchy, you as the intern don't directly talk to the boss unless they ask you for something. Mm-hmm. Which is like, you like, go get coffee, go get this for me, run an errand. But you're not allowed to like just flag them down and be like, hey boss. Mm-hmm. It would be, you pass it off to your superior, your mentor, whatever, right? Yeah. So this is where Jungoh comes in. He's got a pretty extensive work history for a college student, so he knows how to catch the ire of the nightmare seed. Jungoh gets up from his desk and makes a show of approaching Eviom and flirts with him, catching the attention of the boss. He puts a guiding hand on his waist and leads him to the copying room.
What the hell?
So they are supposed to appear romantically involved by kissing, but Eviom's just gotta argue. Like, do you really need to put your hands all over me to kiss me? And it's like, dude, they're trying to make it seem realistic, but he's just like, how fucking dare you touch me?
But also, wait, why does he need to kiss him?
Exactly! Why did they have to kiss at all? This is Jungoh's, like, stupid fucking idea. Instead, if we look like we're about to get romantic in the office, the boss will follow us. And so Jungoh's just like, don't worry, I'm just gonna kiss you and I'll make it quick. And it's a dream, so it doesn't even count. But then...
Pause.
Yeah.
I need a break. I haven't needed a break in a while. But this lad is so stupid. Oh. This boy's so dumb.
It's like putting the cart before the horse, but the cart's his penis. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This dumb. Oh. Lord. Okay.
So it's like, oh, we have to kiss people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm following. Okay, you have to make it seem like you're kissing, but I keep thinking, just do a stage
fight.
Kiss.
Or a fake fight.
Well, no, like I get where they're coming from. Like they're fighting earlier, now they're doing this, whatever. They're getting attention, but you can just do a stage kiss or like make it seem like
Mm-hmm.
you're kissing from an angle. You don't actually have to kiss him. But what I need an explanation for is why instead of just kissing directly on the mouth, he kisses Ibeom on the neck first.
Kill him.
Girl,
Kill this thirsty boy.
please. But like whatever, because Ibeom's trifling too. Because despite his protest, he gets kissed on the neck and he's like, "That's pretty good."
No. Yeah. Help.
Yeah.
This is silly. I like it. This is very silly.
Uh-huh. So right before things get too intense, Ibeom notices the beady eyes of the boss peeking in from the doorway. He reflexively throws Jungoh off right as the combination Nightmare Seed and Salaryman burst in, yelling about the degeneracy of young people. So Jungo's plan worked. And like it felt good or whatever too. Like that's we can shelve that for later. That's not important.
What a time to discover my gay feelings.
Oh yeah.
I'm in this weird supernatural shit job.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Hey, the gay thoughts come for all of us eventually.
I mean, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Ibeom quickly takes out a notepad and scribbles something, then rips out the sheet and throws the paper, turned talisman, directly at the boss's forehead. It affixes there before bursting into blue flames. Jungoh sits in awe on the floor as the flames engulf and burn the Nightmare Seed into nothing. He remarks that the flame is intense, but not at all hot. But, hot or not, the flames could still hurt him. Like his soul and shit. They could actually burn up his soul and yeah, it's like dangerous. Which is why it's the perfect time for Dream Jungoh to lose control of his legs, rendering him unable to move away from the flames. So he just gets spooked and he
can't move.
He doesn't have full control over himself in dream world and stuff like that. It's like how like a lucid dreamer compared to like a regular dreamer kind of situation. So Ibeom in a panic grabs onto Jungo's shirt, pulling him away and rolling them both out of the way of the brunt of the flames. Jungoh looks up to thank Ibeom and is shocked to see blue flames eating away at his body. Before anything more can be said, Ibeom, obviously in pain, stutters out, conclude dream. So that's gonna thrust them back into the real world.
Ibeom has the fire on him.
Yeah, he got hit by some of the flames. Back in the real world, Ibeom comes to, his body rocked with shivers. He hastily severs the red string and attempts to stand and back away from the client, still asleep on the bed. He stumbles, still shaking. His brother rushes to his side, worriedly asking what's wrong. Simple. It's a malady. Poor Ibeom has become afflicted with a malady.
Okay.
Ibeom's dick enters the chat.
Okay, hold on. So does the malady not reflect what the client had? It reflects like what's wrong with you on the inside?
It just reflects something. And so I want to remind you that Grandma had wrath as her malady. Okay. And his mom had gluttony as her malady. Mm-hmm. And what do wrath and gluttony line up with?
7 deadly sins?
Uh-huh.
He's
so you
lust.
Just get one of the 7 deadly sins as your malady. Yeah.
That sucks.
Uh-huh.
That sucks.
Uh-huh.
That sucks. Mom, Dad, I got a malady. It's lust. Fuck.
So
wait, isn't the fix for it to just like do it for a while? Oh, you gotta jerk off into a sock for a while?
The older brother cradles Ibeom, asking questions a mile a minute, but mostly wondering what he can do for his precious baby brother. Ibeom just asks that he handles the last parts of their session, which is explaining the final steps to the client and her mother. And with a sweating body and rapidly reddening face, his brother, overcome with concern, asks what, besides a fever, is ailing Ibeom. He desperately wants to help.
Shut up, brother. You can't touch his pee-pee. He's gotta go.
Ibeom tells him he's actually fine, lies, and that he can't get help from his brother because he definitely needs to finish things up with the client, which is true, but also an excuse. Instead, Ibeom respectfully requests help from the now awake Jungoh. So Jungoh and Ibeom head back to the car, this time with Jungoh in the driver's seat. He asks where to go, like home, a hotel, maybe the fucking hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But Ibeom reminds him that they're doing freaky spiritual shit that no hospital can actually fix. and requests literally anywhere that can get him some privacy. All of this while hunching forward and looking incredibly uncomfortable. Jump to the boys at a nearby hotel, with Evian pathetically struggling with the door to the room. Like, it's just a passcode they're supposed to put in, and he can't quite get it. So Jungo's like right next to him, being like, "Well, I'll do it for you. Do you need me to get the thing?" And he's like, "No. I've got it. I can get this door. I can get there." So once he wrestles it open, Jungo inquires what type of malady this is, because he knows that grandma's was rage or wrath, and his mom's was gluttony. So what could Evian's malady be?
Boy.
Evian's gaze settles on Jungo's lips as he again offers his assistance. Man, Jungo does have some nice fucking lips. He snaps out of it, shouting at Jungo to wait outside until he calls for him, before shoving him outside, sending him tumbling to the floor for the second time that day, and slamming the hotel door closed. Poor Jungo feels a little bit hurt since he was just trying to do his job, but also, you don't understand. You don't understand,
This
honey.
is a case of just like, I don't know, stupid and stupid. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oof, it's stupid himbo and so smart you're stupid.
It's a comedy of errors at the highest degree.
God, thank you. So word smart.
Meanwhile, Evian is in the bed, pants down, shirt up, looking cute and touching pee-pee.
Wait. Say that again?
Evian's in bed, pants down, shirt up.
That's the
looking
way
cute.
we like to fuck?
God fucking damn it. Whatever.
That's what it sounds like, right?
Nah, you're right.
Is this all strung with lyrics? That's how you write?
I don't think, well...
I'm giving you a hard time for funsies.
Existential crisis, thanks.
Don't.
He is, of course, unsuccessful in his fapping because maladies are not just minor inconveniences. His grandma destroyed her home, like I'd said. His mom ate for hours straight. Ain't no way he's getting over this without help. He's so hot and so sensitive, but he yearns for the touch of someone else.
It sucks.
But Jungo didn't really wait outside for him, right? Like, who would do that? Who would actually do what he said he was going to do?
Girl,
yes. Jungo, ever considerate, comes inside the room, explaining how he just doesn't feel right leaving Evian by himself to deal with whatever's going on.
Evian's going to take your virginities.
So Evian quickly wraps himself in the comforter, trying to hide his body, which is nothing but fill Jungo with more concern. Jungo takes a seat on the opposite side of the bed, asking about his fever as he gently places his hand on the mound of comforter that is Evian's body. This puts the first chink in the dam of Evian's resolve. He quickly unfurls himself, asking, almost begging, for Jungo to hold him just this once.
I'm embarrassed.
Jungo agrees, and Evian finds himself on top of his assistant, hugging him tightly. Like,
I'm embarrassed.
It's not the hold me of, like,
Fuck me.
of Japanese boy love fame. It's legitimately, like, I just want you to, like, hold on to me kind of thing.
No. Like, yes, this is a romance or whatever, but my brain is just like, the errors that got us here.
But, you know, it's that good old chest-to-chest, cross-to-crotch canoodling. And Evian's pants are still undone from a minute ago. And Jungo smells good, and he feels so fucking good. And Evian just can't help but grind his hips. You know.
Is he gonna fraught against this man?
He's doing it whether or not he wanted to. I'm legit impressed that Jungo manages to think through the situation and posits that Evian's malady may be an increased sex drive. In response, Evian tries to kiss him. He apologizes as Jungo pushes him back, but apologies don't mean much when you're still grinding your hips. Evian, sounding like the good girl gone bad in a teen film, explained that he's usually not like this and is not the type to do this sort of thing. But will Jungo do this for him just this once? Jungo's dick rejoins the chat, and as he slides a hand up Evian's side and under his shirt, despite the electric excitement in the air, Jungo is a consensual king and confirms that doing this is 1, what Evian wants, and 2, that this will relieve him of his malady. A nod in return is all he needs to do whatever Evian wants.
Alright, I'm putting a little salt on that. Just a little salt. This guy's clearly high as balls. You don't take his consent. You call someone else. And I know, it's fiction.
Well, in this case, there's no one else that Ibeam trusts more to do this at this
Well,
point.
I'm not saying he can't do it eventually, but I would have like I'm sorry, I would have also called an adult. But I also wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have gotten in the car.
And also, in this case, Jungoh is the adult. He's the older adult here because he's 24.
Yeah, no, I'm not listening to my corny ass. I'm calling this kid's grandmother or parents. And yes, it may be in an uncomfortable situation to be like, hey, your kid has a malady and it's lust, but I think I still would have rather had that happen. Like, it just saves a lot of problems probably down the line.
Okay. You at 22 years old.
He's 24.
Oh, no. From Ebiam's point of view.
No, Ebiam doesn't get a choice. His high ass is being like, please put it in me. He doesn't get a choice. I'm going to talk to his family.
But if I, when you were 22, told your grandma, can you please come pick Keely up? She's in horny hell.
If it's horny...
Would you have kicked my ass later?
Probably not if it's from this weird bullshit. If I'm just drunk and having a good time, you're dead. But this is weird bullshit. I would want confirmation that this is weird bullshit and not also weird pyramid scheme or weird high asset. Like, all of this for me is like a nope. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. I'm just putting a little salt on it because it's like, I would have called an adult, but I don't think you should have gotten in the car at the very beginning.
In any case, sure. They're going to fuck the second time that they've met. They met like 2 days ago. They're going to fuck right now. Why not? Great time to mention that Ibeam is a virgin. And Jungo's never fucked a guy before.
Boys, look, this is another reason why I would ask. Like, look, I'm not trying to sound like a prude. Not trying to be that bitch. But goddamn, I would also want someone, if they're gonna fuck me, to know what they're doing.
Okay. Hold my hand. Okay. So they make out, and Jungoh, our bi-curious king, gives Ibeam a blowjob. But that doesn't do shit to the malady.
Did it work at least a little? Did it come?
He came, it staved it off a little bit, but it's not enough. He's still hot as shit. So Ibeam's still grinding and holding tight to Jungoh because he has no idea what comes next. He doesn't know the next step after blowies. So no worries.
You don't know Jungoh. He's not a woman. You can't just put it in. He's gonna try though.
No worries. Jungoh vows to teach him like what comes next and then gets them 2 tickets to Pound Town. In Jungo's defense, he does actually know what to do. Okay. And that's never explained why he knows what to do, but there is a scene of him like stretching him and shit like that and taking his time.
Some women like anal, so like that might be why.
Maybe we never get confirmation.
I mean, he could be like, since he's definitely been with women before and he doesn't seem to be having an issue with men, he is probably a bisexual king, like you were saying. And this is just
bi-curious is what I said.
Oh, bi-curious. Excuse me. He's probably seen some shit.
I hope. Much later, Ibeam awakes to the sound of his cell phone ringing. He's nude except for a robe and has a decent-sized hickey near his collarbone. Memories of their coupling fill his mind. Like cool lines as, you came as soon as I put it in, hitting him like a Mack truck.
Kill this boy.
He can, metaphorically, feel his soul leave his body.
Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare job this was.
Ibeam eventually answers the phone and lets his brother know where he's at. You know, hours later.
Jesus Christ.
He's searching around for his clothes when a voice behind him lets him know that they were ruined and had to be washed. There's Jungoh in all his post-coitus glory, covered, littered in marks. Ibeam is in a glass case of embarrassment because he's just thinking, oh, I've got a hickey and that's so embarrassing. And then he sees Jungoh, and Jungoh's got like bruises and scratches and hickeys all over him. He looks so much worse than Ibeam does.
Oh.
So Ibeam tries to play it cool and act normal as Jungoh gets dressed and goes to fetch his clothes. But he, of course, instead comes off as standoffish and rather kind of aloof. Like, he seems a little bit more robotic. And so Jungo's like, oh shit. Is he like upset? Does he want to talk about it? Like, maybe maybe like there's something about it that he didn't like. Like he's starting to feel bad about himself. Like, what did I do?
You should feel bad about yourself. Both of you should feel bad about this stupid situation you put yourselves in.
Just as Jungoh steps out the door to fetch the clothes, he runs straight into Big Brother.
No, no.
Susan,
No.
do you want to hold my hand?
I don't know if it'll help. No, I don't want the brother. I don't want him to see this. They're stupid, but I don't want this for them.
Jungoh very reasonably asks that he stay outside and give Eviom a minute, citing that he's physically and mentally exhausted, which you can't say it like that. You can't say he's physically and mentally exhausted, because that sounds so creepy, and it's not on purpose. It's true, but it's sketch as shit. But you can't stop a concerned big brother, and if I heard physical and mental exhaustion from some motherfucker I just met, I too would barge into the room.
Does he see them both naked?
No, at this point, Jungo's like dressed in like Andrea.
Okay, I forgot that. My brain is spiraling.
But cue Eviom, the vision of innocence, in a white robe and nothing else. The lapel of his robe slipping down his shoulder and revealing a bright red hickey.
No. I hate this so much. I hate it so much. No, I hate it. I'm so embarrassed. I'm melting. I hate it.
Big Brother sucker punches Jungoh, which is fair.
No, it's actually not fair, I don't think. Maybe it might be fair. I don't know. None of this is fair. Don't take this job.
But Jungoh ain't no bitch, and he did warn him not to come into the room, so he punches back.
Good. Okay. That's giving me a little life.
Mm-hmm. Next scene has all three of them sitting in different parts of the room.
They're gonna talk it out.
So they're all sitting in different parts of the room as Eviom explains what happened. He not only has to explain that he boned someone, again, for the first time.
He has to tell... I'm glad he at least admitted it.
He has to tell his older brother, but that he's also been injured by cleansing fire and was overcome by a malady. And he wants to keep this all hidden from Grandma in addition to that. Because again, that insecurity, I can't tell Grandma.
Shut up for a second. I'm so mad. Stop it. Why? Tell your fucking grandmother. I know it's embarrassing. I'm so sorry that it's lust. And I'm so sorry that you're insecure.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus Christ. And you, this nearly 30-year-old man, if you agree, you are the weakest bitch in the universe. Holy shit.
Brother isn't pleased, but even he can understand the embarrassment of telling your grandma, hey, I got sick doing my job and a hard dicking is the only cure. And he lets it go.
You are the weakest bitch in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have no common sense. You know what? You got no common sense.
Mm-hmm.
You dumbass.
Uh-huh.
You're not. I take away your adult card. You are now the younger brother.
Big Bro also promises that he'll get Eviom a new assistant, better than the stinky little hornball they have now. Eviom's nicer about it, and he ends up apologizing for the inconvenience and the boundary crossing and the shameful actions, but he does agree with his brother that Jungoh needs to be fired.
Y'all, okay, I disagree with that, but he also shouldn't work for y'all. So, like, it's like...
Like, again, like I said, Eviom is at least, like, polite and apologizes, and, like, truthfully at this point, Eviom is rude, and he does generally refer to Jungoh without honorifics at all. And it kind of makes sense, because, like, he's the boss in this case, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But in this moment, he is using polite speech and being like, I really am sorry, but, like, this was not a good situation. You shouldn't have been in the dream.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. We gotta go. Part of it is also fueled by embarrassment of, I was so horny in front of you, I can never see you again.
No.
I have to pack my shit and leave.
I 100% understand. He shouldn't have taken this job from the get-go. Honestly, all of this has been bad. I just feel bad that he has to be told, well, you're fired. Like, because I'm sorry. Y'all fucked this up first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he fucked up from falling asleep. You took him in basically blind, you dumb pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are not allowed to hire. You need a HR. That's why. Call Keelz now. I will HR your dumbasses. Jesus.
But in addition to getting fired, they will compensate him as they agreed from before, and they will also give him more for damages. But it doesn't matter. He's got to go.
Let me break the brother's tailbone. That would be my damages. You punch me in the face, I'm gonna break your ass.
Even when faced with Jungo's endless charms, the answer is still the same. Stone cold no, and I won't be calling you from EBM. Because Jungo is like a little idiot, and he's like, well, fire me, but I don't even have a chance to explain myself. And then he's like, well, won't you at least, like, call me or something? No.
Oh my god. He's this poor, thirsty boy.
Oh, fuck. That sucks.
Yeah.
Got a job, like the idea of it. No more. But this is a boy love, and even if you barely understand Korean spirituality and dream manipulation, you know where this is going, right? I'll never call you ever can end in no other way than 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Ibeom has been plagued with erotic dreams. Almost every night, he dreams about getting pounded. On the table, in the woods, in his twin bed, everywhere. Even when he meditates, his once disciplined mind wanders to thoughts of Jungo on top of him. Add to that, he's begun to develop bruises the morning after these intense dreams, exactly where Jungo touched him in the dream. So there's 2 things going on.
This is a little bad, I think.
Correct. So there's 2 things going on. One, he thinks like, oh, I'm just having dreams about having sex because you have dreams about things that, make an impact on your life.
No,
whatever,
you
right?
stupid malady.
And then, okay, so the malady is the one thing. He has now developed a nightmare seedling. Okay. Because nightmare seedlings are called that normally because nightmares are intense dreams, right? Mm-hmm. But it's addressed here and at another time in the comic that you can have an intense dream and it doesn't have to be all bad. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. It can just be intense. Mm-hmm. So in this case, he's likely developed a nightmare seedling from getting injured in the dream before. Mm. And that nightmare seedling is like, hey, you're going to fuck Jungo. You're going to think about it. You're going to manifest it. So he's waking up with like bruises on his hips and like his ass and his sides and on his neck where he's been dicked down in the dream.
My secondhand embarrassment is in the toilet. Uh-huh. I'm so embarrassed.
So he has no choice. Ibiam needs help navigating his malady and the impact that it could have on his job. And it's help that only Jungoh Han can provide.
Honestly, I would make him work for it. You fired my ass and didn't call me.
No, okay. I will go ahead and tell you, because that is exactly what Jungo does. Because he's like, well, he said he was going to call me. It's 2 weeks later. He's kind of moved on. And in fact, he's changed Ibiam's name in his phone from like boss or whatever it was. It now says it's like something derogatory. It's like asshole who you should never pick up the phone for or something like that. They changed that. And so it shows him like getting out of the shower and his phone goes off and he's like, wait a second, that motherfucker called me? And he's like, well, I'm going to wait until he calls me back. A third time, and then maybe I will pick up. And he's saying, though, it's like, yeah, he'll call me back. Meanwhile, Ibiam is so anxious about it. He's like, should I call a third time? I don't know, maybe that's imposing too much. I better not call again. And so he's having anxiety, so it ends up being Jungo that caves and then gives him a call. And even then when he gets on the phone, he's like, hello, who is this? It's Ibiam Shin from a couple weeks ago. I don't recall someone like that.
Yeah, good for you. At least give him a little attitude.
Oh, yeah, he gives a total attitude. It's like, I don't remember you, and like makes him explain it and stuff like that.
Good, I would.
And so he doesn't immediately get rehired. What happens first is Ibiam tries to like go into Jungo's dreams to try to like, he's trying to test what's going on because he wants to see if his nightmare seedling / malady is going to cause problems for his clients. So he's like, let me test it out with somebody I know. He does figure out, oh, when I entered Jungo's dreams, I randomly got horny and things got weird in here.
Oh boy.
And so a lot of this comic
is just sex.
Jungo has to go into the dreams with Ibiam so that they can get off.
This is
he can refocus it.
This is a fun story. Like, this is gonna get a good rating for me because as much as I'm shouting, I'm laughing too.
Well, and also, so you have to think about it this way too. So they are going into different people's dreams, right? So everybody's got their own different thing going on. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things I really like about this comic is you get a little bit of you get multiple fantasies all wrapped into one. Because I have like a list here. Like they obviously were office workers that first time, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then in Jungo's dream to kind of solve like, am I gonna be horny every time? Jungo makes himself like a Korean emperor and makes Ibiam his attendant,
His concubine or his attendant?
like an actual attendant, like he
Okay,
actually
okay,
works for
okay.
him.
Checking.
And then there's another time, another dream, they're like a teacher and a security guard. Another time, they're cops. In the webtoon one, they're Victorian adjacent webtoon characters.
Oh, that's cute.
And then
But
like
they get handsy in all these different outfits, right?
yeah,
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 man, this author's a genius.
yeah. And then like the last one is honestly the sweetest one because they kind of are basically like just neighbors to the client that they have, and so they kind of live as like a married couple during that time. So like they like yeah, I do believe that the author is so smart.
Very, very smart. This is like very smart because it's got like that double entendre of like it was all a dream and then playing it on its head, you know?
Oh yes, exactly. She's thinking 3008.
Yeah.
She's just yeah.
Oh
She's
my god, that was Black Eyed Peas. My lyrical spouse.
I say that one all the time. Okay.
Oh man.
That one I'll cop to. That one's like a regular occurrence for me. I am going to show you.
This is the musical episode.
I don't actually have any, like, I don't think I have a lot of regular photos of them. I just had mostly, like.
You just take sex.
I started taking pictures later. But, like, you can see what Ibiam looks like. Obviously, like, sweet face twink kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then Jungo's got kind of charming, like, a little roguish. Mm-hmm. Not delinquent style, but, like.
Ruffled redhead.
Yeah. He has a lot of charm.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe he's very charming. And then the
Korean Ron Weasley.
No.
Probably not.
And the older brother is just he looks
they
like
don't
an older
look alike.
Yeah, he looks like an older brother too to me.
He looks like an older brother, but they don't look like siblings.
We'll cover that in a second.
Aha. I have found a mystery.
This is some of the stuff that Eviam's doing. Like, so I'm showing Keelz right now a scene where Eviam is like sniffing Jungo's wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on like not a date necessarily, but they're not supposed to be on a date. They're on like a work luncheon kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But this is what Jungo's having to deal with. Because Eviam's not taking it weird at all that he's like sniffing somebody's wrist.
Why is he sniffing his wrist?
He's just like, oh, that smells familiar.
Oh.
Let me sniff it. And it's like, girl, don't do that.
Boy, you're pulling off the heartthrob moment, and this big himbo can't take it.
Exactly. Okay, so let's handle these fucking characters, my guy.
Yay, characters.
Okay. So Jungoh Han, he's 24. He is a college student taking a gap year. He's handsome, tall, and sturdy, with a kind of smile that's both disarming and a little mischievous.
Golden Retriever.
A little bit, yeah. He's honestly charming and maybe to a fault. He's a hard worker and tends to get attached to his part-time jobs, but never sticks with them for more than a few months. He seems restless, and that reflects in his inability to just finish up college. His life is fine. Otherwise, like, he has a good family background. He easily makes friends. He has a good core group of friends that he can rely on. He's had a couple of girlfriends, both of whom that he's still on good terms with, and he's capable enough to be relied on by his friends, his peers, and his bosses. His charm, outgoing nature, and extensive work history make him an excellent fit for assisting Eviam. He's also absolutely smitten with Eviam, really from the beginning, and so as much as like he'll tease him or try to be petty, he inevitably caves to Eviam's wants, even when the little shaman is being a rude ass brat. Mm-hmm. He pretends to care about his dignity, but is a proud simp. I would put him in the camp of being wholesomely nasty.
Ah, I mean that makes sense. Like, honestly, like, wholesomely nasty simp. Because he just couldn't leave Jungoh Han?
Eviam.
God damn.
Jungoh couldn't leave Eviam alone. Yeah. Like, if he sees... Jungo's the type of person, if he sees somebody in trouble, he wants to help.
Yeah, thank you. Damn.
It's fine.
I cannot names.
What
am I? Who am I?
Yeah, he is just very compassionate with people in general. And that's even, I think, kind of how he ended up doing this whole dream thing, is he's like, well, that seems really hard. I'll help out. Mm-hmm. Good.
So what are these sweet dreams made of?
This. Ibiam Shin is 22 and a practicing shaman that specializes in nightmare neutralization. He is naturally stubborn and desperate to be perceived as an independent and capable person. He's well versed in shamanism, but a newbie to pretty much everything else. He accidentally isolated himself in his later teen years due to his choice of employment, leading to some big naivety and inexperience. So, like, specifically, he went to normal, like, Korean schooling until, like, the middle of high school, and then he's like, no, I'm done with school, I want to be a shaman. And his parents were like, well, you seem very serious about it, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, that's typical.
Yeah. And then it kind of shows how he ended up growing apart from his high school friends because he's studying and doing things differently. And so he's weirdly kind of isolated and didn't experience some of his later teenage milestones. So he's like a little bit behind at this point. His keen perception and calm nature make him a good fit for his job, in spite of his inexperience. He tends to range from curt to straight up rude, and he speaks kind of like a strongly worded email sometimes. So he's not going to say, go fuck yourself.
Like, you showed me a couple scenes, and I was like, that's a Karen face. That's a, where's your manager face?
He's so mean sometimes.
He looks mean.
I know, I just learned about this.
He looks like a mean shorty.
Okay, so I just told you about that comic where the author said that she liked baby potato types, meaning like a twink that's like moody and mean.
That's him.
He's a baby potato. He's a baby potato. Twink. Yeah. He has an adorable face with a cute frame that is full of piss, vinegar, and insecurity. Mm-hmm. He's regularly taken out by Jungo's charms, but makes a lot of effort to hide it. He gets embarrassed easily, and his attempts to act normal or go with the flow usually lead to more miscommunication. He's a slight brocon, and he's actually very slutty.
I mean, based off some of the poses I saw, I would think so.
Mm-hmm. Like, as much as he's like, I'm embarrassed and I don't want to have this malady, he gets over that surprisingly quickly.
He's like, I'm not embarrassed no more. Fuck this malady out of me.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. Lee Hyung Shin, 29, is Ibiam's older brother. He works as his little brother's assistant and is quite overprotective of him, which is mostly for a good reason, since this dream stuff can be a bit dodgy and dangerous. Mm-hmm. But it also comes from the fact that he has had a complicated relationship with Ibiam, due in part to their age difference, but also because they are not biological brothers. And he lacks spiritual awareness, and they also just have had trouble communicating with each other in general. So you have the age gap that's leading to it. Yeah. I don't see ghosts. All that sort of stuff ties together.
Yeah, so this brother doesn't see ghosts?
No.
Okay.
So it's just mom, grandma, and Ibiam, and so the dad doesn't see ghosts either.
Okay.
There's a lot going on between them. They have like a decently complicated history, but he's working hard as an adult to shorten the distance that he has between himself and his little brother. Mm-hmm. So he's more of like a late in life brocon. It came after some time. He begrudgingly puts up with Jungoh, but wouldn't mind if he disappeared forever.
Yeah. So since he's a late in life brocon, does that mean the kid was adopted late, or? So
Ibiam was adopted right before middle school. So he was like late elementary school when he got adopted. And the parents just made that choice. They wanted to do it, and they also knew that Ibiam saw weird stuff. And so
they thought they'd help him out.
This adoption was supported by grandma as well. They all thought, let's take in this kid who's having these issues. And so he sees them as his parents. It's really cool that they adopted him. I love that.
Yeah, but Big Brother's already technically grown up at this point.
He was in like his like second or third year of high school. So he's about to fuck off. And so really early into him staying there, he wants to leave. And then the way that Ibiam would interact with him, which I know people are going to get him a case for this, but like, Ibiam is a little bit autistic coded as well, because the way that he tries to interact with his brother is just following him and copying what he does,
which is very cute.
So he doesn't really talk to him though.
He's socially awkward, but probably because of like even upbringing.
Yeah, like seeing ghosts all the time, and then upbringing, and then so he's just a little bit stunted. And then I showed Keelz earlier some of the faces that Ibiam makes. He doesn't have like a super high range of emotion on his face most of the time.
Yeah, but he just kind of looks pouty at all times.
Yeah, so there's some things going on there that just made it more difficult for them to connect when Ibiam was young. And so Hyung is trying to make up for that now that he's older, and that's partially why he's working with him and trying to reconnect with him and stuff like that. And he just becomes like a very normal, like, big brother.
Honestly, that's a lot to take in. Like,
yeah,
I suddenly have a new brother, and I'm almost an adult, and then the brother is a little off, because whether he's autistic or just like socially awkward or whatever, there's something there that's
or just uncomfortable because you're in a new place or whatever.
Right, right. But like, it's just like that's a lot. That's a lot for like a young person who's about to also have a big transition in their own life to adjust to. It makes sense that they would come back.
Yeah.
Like, this actually reminds me of two of my cousins and their youngest sibling. I'm not going to name them, but the two cousins are 20 and 18 years apart from their youngest sibling. And that was a shock. It took adjustment. But like, now they're all like super BFFs, you know?
Yeah.
And but it was a thing.
And that's what they try to approach. Like, their relationship becomes a lot more like brothers by the end, because they're almost too, like, Ibiam really relies on him and trusts his older brother, and did have a little bit of a crush on him when he's younger and stuff too. But like, they don't really act like brothers at the same time. They act a little too distant. By the end, they're starting to act a lot more like brothers, and they're arguing and you know, fucking with each other and stuff like that.
Nice.
So then we have Grandma, the OG shaman, and she is Ibiam's teacher and mentor, and obviously also Grandma. If you think she doesn't know what's going on, yes, she fucking does.
Okay, I love an old character like that.
She knows what's going on all the time. She is also curt and rude, though less so in her old age, and she is a master of her craft and generally a very good grandmother. So I kind of feel like, though they're not biologically related, Ibiam and Grandma like act so much the same.
Nice.
Yeah. She loves her grandsons, her daughter, and her son-in-law, but doesn't mince words even with them. She truly believes in Ibiam despite his insecurities and her own worries about him continuing this line of work. She's worried more in the way of like, oh, I worry it's not going to be a good fit for him. Not like I think he's bad at it, but like, my poor baby kind of thing. She's immediately charmed by Jungoh and has a good feeling about his involvement with her grandson. We love a sneaky old woman.
Yeah, she's like, ooh, wait a minute. This is Dateline now.
Because she says something about like, I don't know, the spirits around the house were saying this is a good idea, so I trust them. So Mom and Dad also make an appearance a handful of times. So their mom and dad are honest to God good parents. Like, no notes. I love how they raise their kids, how they continue to care for them as adults. They're great. They found out about their baby son's relationship at a wild fucking time, and I pray for their peace.
Oh my.
Because they have a kid who's never dated before, goes 0 to 60. And they find out about it at a weird time. I'll tell you the specifics later because it's really fucking funny.
I am curious.
Mom has powers just like her mom and son, but has retired from spooky shit. Her malady once upon a time was gluttony, like I'd said before. And then Dad has 0 spiritual awareness, but he's very supportive.
That's nice.
So there's a ton of side characters in here that all get named, like all the clients get named, but their stories aren't really all that important to the main plot. What happens in their dreams and what happens around them does kind of facilitate the main plot of the relationship and stuff. But they are all uniquely interesting in their own way. Whiteeared tried her best not to put too much emphasis on the missions, but I was captivated nevertheless. Because she's honestly a great character designer. And so even like little side characters, I felt like, man, I want to know more about them. And I gotta give a shout out to one character for being very outwardly queer with no explanation. Like, there's a character who they are wearing a girls' school uniform in the past, but are introduced with he, him pronouns in the present, and we aren't told why or any further clarifying details.
That's really cool.
So, there's a chance it could be a translation error, because there were a couple earlier, so it could be a translation error, and they meant to put down she, or they just didn't, pick up on the context clues or whatever, but it really doesn't matter, because the character still transitions from what we can interpret as a young woman to a very masculine older person. So it's either a very queer-leaning woman who presents super masc, or it is a legitimate transition situation. We don't know. We know there's kind of a little deep friendship, maybe crush thing going on between that character and another character we see. It's super fascinating. I'm so locked in. And Whiteeared is just so real for that. And then also the webtoon dream, it, like in universe, one of the main characters in that is like a gender swapping magician or something like that. So there's just a little bit of that all over.
Do they swap their genders at one point?
No.
Oh, okay,
I mean, girl, the extras haven't come out for this yet. We'll see. But this in general is an extremely queer friendly story. Like, yes, of course it's boy love, and obviously we're in queer town. But I've read a ton of stories where the greater universe around the main characters is extremely hostile to queer anything. Characters having to hide their true identities or their partners for fear of losing their jobs or family, social status, etc. That is not this comic.
Mm-hmm.
I just mentioned some queer-coded bits from the side characters, but people directly connected to the main characters are also cool about it. So Ibeom's parents found out about his relationship, and while surprised, are chill that it's a dude. Jungo's friends know for a long time that he's got a crush on his boss, and that said boss is a dude.
Mm-hmm.
They also know he only dated women before, but they just don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just like, okay, cool. Why do you keep asking him out, idiot? Don't be a creep. Like, they're just total friends about it, instead of worrying about, he might be gay now or he's bi or something.
That's nice.
And it's all it gets presented as an afterthought or that our precious protags are living in a queer utopia. It's just not an issue for the people that care about them most. And they keep accidentally brushing up against other folks that are like them. So it's honestly pretty neat.
That is very neat. I like that touch.
Yeah, we don't get it often enough, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I think that's the vibe a lot of people are doing now, which is like, it's none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like, I know it happens, but I've never been accosted on the street for gay. I was accused of being trans once, which I thought was interesting.
That was a wild time.
Yeah, I was wearing a trans rights shirt, and someone had the idiocy to call me a sir, and I didn't answer because I'm standing in line and I hear sir, so I'm not turning around. And then I turn around because the guy like grabs me, and the manager of this gas station was a huge black man with a big gay pride button on his chest, and he towered over these two men who had grabbed me, and he's like, "Are you making trouble in my line?" And I kid you not, I looked at every staff member, and every staff member in that gas station had a gay ally pin. And I was like, holy shit, I'm in the gayest place on earth and I'm safe. They got thrown out. They called the cops. And, like, I just bought my drink and left. But, like, it was a very cool moment. It's cool.
Yeah.
Closest thing I've ever had.
Yeah. Let's keep it that way.
For real. Like, honestly, now I get like, oh, you have a wife? That's so cute.
Yeah, like, I also like that Ibeom's sexual orientation is just kind of whatever. He acknowledges he had a crush on his brother as a kid, and at no point did he question his sexuality. Like, he just said, yeah, I had a crush on him, and now I'm into Jungoh, and it's just not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. That's another way to take it. Some people don't think about it.
And it's partially because, like, ghosts are cooler and more important than defining himself, which totally get.
For real, you're like a little shaman dude.
Yeah, who cares about orientation?
Yeah, you're seeing spirits. Who knows? And who knows what those look like? I don't even know. Do they look human or do they look like things?
It's mentioned that he mistakes a couple of spirits for being real people.
Okay.
When he was a kid, yeah. And then Jungo's really no better. He ponders his sexuality for like 3 seconds. Like, he's thinking, like, man, I've never been into a guy before, but dang, he's gorgeous. LOL.
Moving on.
And then he's off to the races.
Hey, that's another song.
Stop. It comes up once more towards the end of the comic for reasons, but he goes through the same process then as well. Or he's still just like, oops, I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's a boy love, so obviously this is a romance, but I'd also say it's a coming of age story. It's just wrapped up in every single one of the author's kinks and a crazy supernatural plot.
And a lot of humor, because this is very funny.
Mm-hmm. I hesitated to refer to Ibeom or Jungoh as MC or male lead, specifically because of this. Because, like, we follow Jungo's point of view for, like, the most often, but Ibeom's story of growth is, like, the major side plot. So you have romance and then growth is right underneath that.
Mm-hmm.
So Ibeom's biggest flaw is refusing to rely on anyone for any reason. He incorrectly believes that achieving true independence and competency means being able to do everything completely on his own and never bowing to failure. This is just not how things work.
No.
But it's an unsurprising mindset to have when you're 22 and insecure. Like, I'm going to emphasize, everyone needs help sometimes. You should seek the helpers. You should seek help when you need it. It's not shameful to seek help, no matter what age you are. Everyone you know has gotten help to get where they are, and if they're telling you that they didn't, they're lying.
Yeah, like, honestly, if you're just stressed in life, especially in things that are happening in real life right now, seriously, look at the helpers. If you can't be a helper, look at the helpers. Take comfort in seeing that people are moving forward and helping each other, helping others. And then also just, again, like Chuckles was saying, apply that to yourself. Seek help if you need help. No one does it on their own.
Exactly.
Like, good Lord.
Yeah. So, being forced to rely on Jungoh is the exact opposite of what he wanted, but it marks the first step towards working with someone as a team instead of viewing them as a crutch or as a protector.
Ah, so this is a he got what he needed but not what he wanted kind of story.
Yes.
That's nice. I like that.
Not to say that he isn't a stubborn brat about it for a long time, but his growth is full-on facilitated by Jungo's matching stubbornness and his endless empathy and compassion. Jungoh positions himself as a helper in a non-judgmental way, which gives Ebion the space to really work through his struggles. The fucking also helps. But what is sex if not an exercise in vulnerability? So by the time things wrap up, Ebion actually can work on his own because he's developed true confidence in his abilities, and that was only possible by acknowledging his shortcomings and asking for help.
Cool.
Jungoh is kind of a perfect young man in a lot of ways, like friendly and charming and helpful and a little bit cheeky, but he also second guesses himself. His insecurity isn't as apparent as Ebion's, but it is there, and it is definitely exacerbated by Ebion's presence. Jungo's never really known a person he can't charm or befriend, but Ebion's got him running in circles. So as I was saying, like, Ebion is very, like, straightforward and curt and can be pretty serious and rude at times, and he just feels, like, impenetrable a little bit.
Right, like a fortress.
Yes, and so Jungo's not good with that. He's never met a person he can't, like, worm his way into, and so he has to start thinking about things differently. So, like, as weird as Ebion can be, his personality and his strange profession caused Jungoh to slow down and learn to be curious again, because he felt that he was such a expert at things that he was no longer trying to figure things out anymore. And so he honestly had become a bit jaded and overconfident, which exactly sounds like how a 24-year-old can be. So he really needed this kind of shift in mindset as well for him to finish growing.
I mean, successful gap year, because, like, that's kind of the point, is to take a little bit of time off, learn something new, or decide if the path you're on is still what you want to do.
Because after all this stuff that goes on in the comic, he does decide to finally work hard and finish his degree.
Yeah.
So essentially, they grow together throughout their relationship and end up as better versions of themselves. They are each other's male lead in this way, and that's emphasized even more after the climax. Whiteeared really put her whole pussy into this one. I mentioned that the episodic side characters are really engaging despite being seen for maybe a chapter or two, but it takes a lot of skill to make people care about a couple characters that quickly. She lamented having to strike a balance between the main plot and the little missions so that she didn't upstage the main action. And it worked pretty well, I think, but mostly because the main story was so punchy itself, by which I mean the porn. The porn played a huge role in keeping you focused. Because as cool as it is to enter the world of an artist webtoon, the thing I remember most is 6 Jungohs tag teaming Ebion. A masterful gambit.
Why are there 6? Is this a dream thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They go into Webtoon Universe, somehow there's 6 Jungohs, and then they tag team Ebion.
I love that this artist is drawing with their dick in hand, but they have the talent to pull it off.
They absolutely do.
Claps to them.
But also, this is just a really fun story. You get to watch Ebion and Jungoh run through different wild scenarios and locations, and they play dress up and they finagle each other. There's like a different...
They finagle each other.
Yeah. There's a different smutty situation tied into each stream, and there's really no limits. The characters are having a good nasty time, and those good vibes are passed on to you, the reader. Which is another thing that Whiteeared really excels at. She knows how to set a mood and express that to the reader. When her characters are joyous, you feel it too. There's a portion at the changeover between season 2 and season 3 that has an ominous undercurrent, even though the plot is primarily positive and hopeful, and you just feel it. So when the other shoe drops, you shouldn't be surprised, but it still hits you like a ton of bricks.
Okay.
Like, I remember I was reading back through this, I looked at some of the comments on Tapas and some other places, and a lot of people were like, why is there foreshadowing? Why does this feel so ominous? What's wrong? And I was like, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I don't know why I'm scared.
You're having a silly, goofy time, and then it's like, BOM!
Or in this case, you're having a very sweet, progressive time, and then you're just like, why am I nervous? She just manages to do that.
That's good.
And her previous work had this vibe too, where even if the actions of the characters were positive, you had no reason to believe anything insidious was going on, and still you're nervous and uncertain. No one should be that good at writing, but here she is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those stories where if you took the explicit fucking out, you'd have a really engaging episodic mystery story with 2 gay leads. Like Sherlock, but without the subtext, and they can dive into dreams Inception style and tell your boss to stop bullying you. But really, this makes the story stronger. Because romance is great, but to craft a plot that keeps you engaged, even when the main characters aren't dueling with their tongues, it's impressive. And I mean that. We've all read something that should have been good, but was straight up boring. Or we've read a boy love that could be super cut into just the sex scenes.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that story. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it does get dodgy at one point in a way that I think people will be kind of upset. So I do want to emphasize that it's a happy ending and our couple is very much in love, so don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun.
Don't forget them triggers.
Yes. It's Just a Dream, Right? Is a smutty, silly, fascinating, and deeply emotional story. It highlights the complexity in interpersonal relationships and how they impact us in ways that may be hidden to us. It blurs the lines between the characters' reality and their dreams in a way that forces them to look at themselves objectively and focus in on what really matters. Each other.
Sweet.
So, if you want to have a good, sexy time, you can read It's Just a Dream, Right? On Tapas. It contains mentions of death, illness, office bullying, public sex, horny plant tentacles, an orgy, kind of, possession, and a little bit of dubious consent. It's complicated, but we're going to just say it's dubious. The side stories are finally being published in Korea, so I can't vouch for the contents of those, but they'll probably be pretty smutty and similar to what's going on in here. You can find Whiteeared at Whiteeared on Twitter. That's WHITEEAREED on Twitter. Or at her website, which is whiteeared.tstory.com. I'm just going to spell T-Story, that's TISTORY.com. She has another work that's called From Points of Three that is currently being re-released on Tapas. I read it before when it was on Lezen, but it's now being re-released on Tapas. So if you want more from her, you can give it a read. Though fair warning, it features BDSM and wonky boundary setting and is a completely different vibe from this one, so proceed carefully.
I think I've seen advertisements for this one.
Yeah, because people are excited because there's people think it's going to be poly. It's really more of a threesome, and it's complicated, and it isn't in poly, so don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this one then. It doesn't help that Top is advertised that it'd be poly.
Yeah, it's not poly. I do encourage you to at least look at some of the art for that one though, because the way that her art shifts from that one to this, it's so impressive. She's worked really, really hard because the art in this one is stellar, and I'm super proud of her.
Yeah, the art is very pretty. Does she do the color too?
As far as I know, she does the color. I think in this one, It's Not a Dream, I think she had an assistant helping with it, but she did do majority of the coloring for the last one for sure. Yeah,
I like her color. It's very nice.
She's doing great. So, what's the whole rating?
I'm actually going to give this a 10. Honestly, there's, no crazy bad, sad backstory. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of, oh, I was adopted and I'm insecure. But, you need a little something to move a story along. Mm-hmm. And, you have this fun fantasy job. There's plenty of humor and plenty of, fun smut. I think it's nice to not have I always think it's nice not to have a brooding seme. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you have like a friendlier seme and like a this the bottom doesn't always have to be like pissy, but like I think that's cute too. Like a little bit of like role reversal
Mm-hmm.
in like the norms. Though I would say like friendlier top and pissier bottom is becoming more normal. But I digress. Point is, there's a lot in here to like, and it's just kind of cozy feeling
Mm-hmm.
and fun and adventure. And like I like that in a story. There's nothing too hard. No one's like, if you don't marry me, I'll sell your family's house, or like, we can't
Mm-hmm.
be together and it's a tragic, beautiful love story. There's none of
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just fun
Mm-hmm.
fantasy. They get together, and it sounds like also a lot of people accept them. Great time. So I'm going to give this a 10. I will read this one.
Hell yeah. I'll be ready. I'm ready to shove it at you. So if you guys want more Hole, you can hit us up on Bluesky or Tumblr at Hole-Chat. Feel free to leave comments, ask, replies, whatever. We're friendly. If you want more direct contact, you can email us at hole.chat.69@gmail.com. And wherever you're hearing this, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Apple, whatevs. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next week. Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.